honored to speak to you today about the concept of the Julia Stoschek Collection in Dusseldorf. I divided my talk into 4 big chapters. First of all, I would like to talk about the structure and the idea of the Julia Stoschek Collection. Then I would like to introduce you to a main aspect, which is the Julia Stoschek Collection as an archive of temporalities. And of course I will show you some examples of exhibitions and works which we showed in the collection so far. And last but not least, I will also talk about the long-term archive strategy of the Julia Stoschek Collection. So I would like to start with the person who is stick to this collection, just in case that you don't know her. The Julia Stoschek Collection was founded by the German collector Julia Stoschek in 2007. It is a private international collection of contemporary art located in Düsseldorf's Oberkassel district with a focus on time-based media. Just to give you a brief introduction on the person, Julia Stoschek was born in 1975 in Coburg, Germany, so she's quite young. This is a photo taken in front of a work by Elaine Sturtevant. She studied business management in Bamberg and has an entrepreneur background. She's a shareholder of the family business Brose, a car supplier based in the south of Germany. Besides her collecting activities, Julia Stoschek's engagement includes several memberships in Dusseldorf and abroad. For example, she's part of the board of directors at KW in Berlin. She's a member of the board of directors at MoMA PS1 in New York. She's member of the Tate International Council in London and, for example, member in the performance committee of the Whitney Museum of Modern Art. So, open to the public, the collection has a building of its own with 2 exhibition floors and in total 3,000 square meters for public presentations. It's a landmark building, originally built in 1907 and a monument of early modernist industrial architecture. The conversion of the building into a museum space was handled by Berlin architects Kühn-Mavetzi from 2005 and 2007. So what you can see here is the entrance area, and in the former picture, that's the total view of the outside of the building. The current exhibitions are open to visitors free of charge every Saturday and Sunday. In line with the collection's educational mission, guided tours are also provided free of charge. Moreover, the collection's activities include expanding and supplementing the holdings, restoration and conservation works, and creating a long-term archive, which I will show to you later. Our program includes not only presentations of items from the collection, but also collaborative projects with other international institutions, curators, and artists. The collection has been steadily advanced since 2002 through ongoing collection activities. Alongside sculpture and photography, the collection focuses on time-based media, including video, film, and multi-channel installations. At present, it includes over 700 pieces, primarily by European and US American artists. So I would like to introduce you to 4 main aspects of the collection, or one can say characteristics. Time is the key figure and central aspect in this concept of a collection. As the term time-based media emphasizes, many of the works in the collection construct multi-temporal worlds. They don't harbor a flow of events, but a labyrinth of diverging paths, each within its own pace and temporality. The collection is thus a complex archive of temporalities, as we call it, storing past moments and layers of time that can be technically repeated an infinite number of times. It is nearly impossible to fully access the temporal richness of a collection of this size. Each individual work of the collection is demanding and requires multiple viewings to be fully understood. The works are also have to be installed to become visible and legible. Loops, circularity, and rotation are modes of installing time. This is a very important aspect. The modes of installing time amplify different ways of exhibition practice. The most important and central focus of the collection is contemporaneity. And one of the leading ideas in this concept of contemporaneity is the ephemeral as a defining feature of our time. And the ephemeral, to us, seems to be reflected in the moving image. This is the reason why we are also not interested in video, but also in performance art. For example, we did in 2009 a performance program, which I also would like to introduce to you later. In our times, digital technologies provide an infinite storage of data and a continual accessibility. So there's an interesting tension between the ephemeral and the idea of storing or archiving, which we are aware of. Video art is not only contemporary, but has a certain history. Along with other ephemeral art forms, as performance or happening, it goes back to the late 60s, when art has just left behind certain restrictions of modernism. Our ambition is to draw a line starting at the beginning of video art in the 1960s until the present day. Regarding our exhibition practice, this means that we also try to focus on the interrelations between works by emerging artists and historical pieces from the 1960s. What we also try to do is to get deeper involved with the artist's works. We do not collect 100 pieces by 100 artists. We rather try to follow an artist over a longer period of time. Therefore, we are more interested in acquiring key pieces, masterpieces, large-scale installations, and more important group of works. But this means our main interest is to capture the heart of an artist's oeuvre and to join a coherent body of works. So, I would like to give you some examples for this. The first exhibition, or the opening exhibition in 2007 was entitled Number 1 Destroy, she said. And for this exhibition, we assembled around 40 creative statements from international artists on the subject of construction, deconstruction, interior and exterior. By the way, the title, Destroy, she said, that was taken by the piece Destroy, she said by Monika Kerkmann, which I would not show here. But artists included in this exhibition, for example, and this is an exhibition which leads to what I said before, it was emerging artists like Mark Leckey, Clara Lydon, Adam McEwen, Paul Pfeiffer, Terence Simon, Aaron Young, and among others, historical positions like Marina Abramovic, Godmother Clark, Anthony McCall, Bruce Nauman, Tony Osler, and so on, and with Viola, for example. So there's another example with Godmother Clark on the right and Jeppe Hein on the left. And then I would like to show you another exhibition called Number 2 Fragile, with a centerpiece of Bruce Nauman and on the left Hannah Wilkie pieces in the first floor, and Katharina Sieverdink and Marina Abramovic and Mika Rottenberg and Terence Coe. So this kind of mixed situation is very obvious in this very early stage of the collection, and what we also try to do with this exhibition is, of course, to make the collection visible at a very low amount of works, like 10% of the collection was visible at that point, but this was kind of and that's what we that's why we also did it as a series, like number 1, number 2, number 3, which implicates that it goes on and on and on. The next thing I wanted to show you is our performance program, and this happened from October 2009 to the end of July 2010, and we invited 28 contemporary performance artists to contribute to this 10-month program. It included dancers, choreographers, visual artists, and musicians. And some of the works have been developed especially for the program. For example, Jon Bock's piece Fundstück, and Simon Fujiwara's The Personal Effects of Theo Greenberg, and a piece by Ragnar Kjartansson, Sounds of Despair. And so after these numerous group exhibitions, we started with a series of monographic exhibitions. The reason why I would like to focus on this chapter is because these presentations follow certain and also, in a way, contrary strategies, which I would like to introduce to you. And the first exhibition I would like to show you is an exhibition by Sturtevant. And in 2014 we showed a solo show of this American artist, which was born in 1930 in Lakewood, Ohio, and unfortunately died in May 2014, so in the same year we opened this exhibition. So the exhibition was conceived in collaboration with her and focused for the first time in this very detail on the artist's media-based output. Ever since her first show in 1965 at New York's Bianchini Gallery, Sturtevant has used the process of recreating artworks to question the traditional understanding of artistic creative processes, along with the purpose, autonomy, and authorship of art. Sturtevant's radical approach was often misconstrued. Her work, which is based on the repetition of masterpieces, for example by Marcel Duchamp, Andy Warhol, and many others, although did not center on the pure emulation or imitation of an artwork, rather she was using the power and awareness that ensues from this differentiated repetition. Sturtevant is interested in the thought process, in making a step from the representation in the image to the concept in the mind. She doesn't simply depict things, but gets to the bottom of them. In the age of the digital revolution, she made an important turn in her work. The idea of repeating works was obsolete, and the inclusion of images from mass media and her own film material rise to an increasing number of time-based works since 2000. Today, her work is considered crucial towards our present world with its digital implications and the question of what constitutes the original in a cyber reality characterized by simulacra. Our exhibition was based on this idea of simulacra and to create a kind of vertical effect, in a way, of disorientation, and presented her works in a way where they overlap each other. And I'll show you some installation shots. And another exhibition I want to show you is an exhibition we did with Elizabeth Price, which is kind of contrary to the exhibition of Sturtevant. And Elizabeth Price has, since Since 2006, Elizabeth Price has mainly worked with digital moving images. The key focus of her conceptual, institution-critical work has been to examine the significance of cultural artifacts, collection, and archives. Each work initially arises from an idea on a place or its history. In an analytical approach to the location, Price then explores the broadest variety of different sources of material and devises drama to occur in that location which feature no direct human action. Instead, historical artifacts, archival image and documents are used to enact social occurrences and play out collective fears and desires. Images, text, and sound are composed in episodes that we migrate to through sections, variously reminiscent or pedagogic lectures, cinematic melodrama, or commercial advertising. In this process-based practice, characterizations and referential systems shed their original meaning, develop a life of their own, and expand in time and space through the rearrangement by narration and video. So, in collaboration with Elizabeth Price, we developed a certain scenography where every work appears once in this choreography, like actors in a play, one might say. It unfolds in a special rhythmic sequence that includes the interiors and spatial elements of the installation. So, this is also a run tour through the exhibition. Then again, another exhibition I would like to show you is our last exhibition with Trisha Donnelly. And the presentation comprises works from the collection, ranging from moving image, photography, sound installation to sculpture. The ensemble is creating a space saturated with the potential for transformations and reconfigurations of the senses and of realities. In continually fluid interactions between the material and the immaterial, Donnelly generates moments of absolute concentration in this exhibition. And this is a kind of interesting example for an artist as well who refuses any explaining material like press releases, wall text, or educational material. So she's only interested in the energy of the moment and the site-specific environment to develop exhibitions. And this is also one of my favorite exhibitions because it's it quite well shows the tension between the stills you can see, because most of the works, or in most of the works, you are not sure if it's a film or if it's a still which is projected on the wall or something else. And she also, I hope you can see this, For example, in the background, this work is, she works with keynote correction and leaves it like this, this angle, and doesn't correct the projections like in this, or she doesn't optimize things. So, and the last but not least exhibition I want to show you is our current exhibition with Cyprien Gaillard. Cyprien Gaillard often starts a new work by seeking out artifacts, monuments, or architectural creations which seem to have lost their significance in the present time. His nomadic gaze takes in backdrops, both urban and natural, manicured or wild, focusing on spots where beauty has evolved from decay or where violence has scarves on the landscape. Thus, the artist vividly depicts the time and places where our present-day economic and cultural needs interact with architectural legacies or the cultural heritage of a region. Each of Gaillard's film works orbits in its own ways the myth surrounding the various settings, describing how outworn utopian urges or belief systems collide with current social conditions and political realities. So, the exhibition offers a kind of concentrated overview of Gaillard's films. Alongside, we showed works on paper, which I do not have with me now, but more important, also different types of film material, like 60mm. This is a work called Cities of Golden Mirrors, which was filmed in the Mexican city Cancun, and nearby you have the pyramids of El Rey, or the ruins of El Rey, this beautiful Mayan architecture. And another piece called Artifacts, which was projected on this 35mm film. And this work, for example, deals with Baghdad and the former Babylon. And this detail shows a beautiful wall painting in the city of Baghdad, which is from early, I think, postmodernism. And that also shows how he deals with the past and the present. And for example, this detail is, this is taken from the Ishtar, which is conserved in Berlin, and it's painted in this modernist manner. And this also leads me to my last point of this talk. As we have different film material in this exhibition, I would like to introduce you to our long-term archiving strategy. The most evident development over the last decades affects technical means. For collectors, there was and still is a significant trepidation about art that is, first of all, easily reproduced, and secondly, sustained by a technological medium. Furthermore, presenting video art is time, cost, and space intensive. The greatest challenge, however, lies in the proper archiving, which constantly increases in complexity. Media and carriers have modernized rapidly and changed fundamentally in the last decades. Like any other artworks, video pieces are subject to aging processes. Only by matter of time they can be damaged or even destroyed entirely. Technological progress constantly generates new file formats and software codes, which find their way into a video artist's production process. Therefore, alongside material-specific risks, we also need to pay close attention to the development of technologies which are viable in the long term and which digital formats are dying out. In order to take account of these considerations, a multi-step long-term archiving strategy was devised for our collection, and it is based on the three-pillar model. And the aim of this strategy is to condense on the digital level the heterogeneous collection into a few established standard output formats. This reduces conservatorial work, as only a constrained number of formats require regular examination and safeguarding by means of obsolescence monitoring. At the same time, redundant backup offers additional security in terms of the collection's continued existence. That said, the very basis and treasure chamber of the collection is the Media Art Depot. The Media Art Depot, specially conceived and planned for this collection, has two airlocks. The personal airlock prevents abrupt changes in environmental conditions when people enter the depot. The second is designed for tapes and media to be newly stored in the depot. It enables them to acclimatize slowly in the airlock before being stored in a spatial mobile shelving system. Given that dust and air pollutants constitute a serious threat for media art pieces, air filtered several times both before and after conditioning. In addition, smoke and water detectors and an alarm system round out the comprehensive protection concept for the works. The complex technical equipment combined with the specially constructed shelving system makes the Media Art Depot unique in Europe. And this is something which I would like to end my talk, and just to give you an outlook to the near future is that we expand our activities to a second base in Berlin. And this project is planned for June 2016 and will open the collection to a broader audience, we hope. And we are then the first private collection with 2 exhibition spaces, and we also will have a collaboration with Moderna Museet in Stockholm. So you are all invited to come to this project. And in February, at the end of February, we have a project in Malmö with the Moderna Museet. And this exhibition is called New Human, and it will be mixing works from the Moderna Museet with the collection works. So you are all invited to that as well. Thank you.